Hey, it's James Willoughby, and welcome back to our What's Going On in Real Estate this week in Austin, Texas. And we are post Memorial Day. We skipped a day, so this is a little bit tardy because of Memorial Day and not working on Monday. But I do have some good news for you this week. Rates continue to slide down, which is boosting at least consumer confidence, and number of loan applications are up because of that. And let's jump right into what's really happening in the Austin area. Now, we reported last week that we had 11,000, almost 300 listings. We're up a little bit. We're at 11,453, which is the highest it's been in several years. At the same time, when we're looking at what else is going on, we're looking at new active versus new pending listing on a weekly basis here. You can see that our number of listings that went on the market this week are down from over 1,100 to under 1,000. So, and that's really Memorial Day stuff. People are like, well, maybe I shouldn't put it on the market this week. Maybe I should, or whatever. There's two camps there on what you should do when it comes to holiday weekends and going on the market. Yet at the same time, we were almost at 900 pendings. So our demand, as we have been talking about before, is like we've been right at straddling this 900 plus or minus a little bit, really for many, many weeks now. Even now, I can even say months, right? So the gap between the new active listings and the new pending listings for last week, really, really close. So that means our inventory isn't growing as fast. Now, one thing I did notice is that, last week we talked about price improvements or reductions. We had 1,503. Well, this week we actually had almost 1,600. So the market's continuing to reprice itself, and as a reaction to a little more inventory. And then next week we'll see, because next week we'll be fully into June, so we'll call it June, first week of June numbers. We'll report the number of failed listings. Usually at the end of a month, we'll have more failed listings that didn't sell, that expired or terminated. They just decided to call it quits, right? And so next week, we'll find out what level of, what percentage of people, the number of homes that did not sell, that pulled off the market. And that will affect the overall, health of the market, because now all of a sudden there's people that decided not to sell. So our inventory should go down maybe a hair because of that. And we'll see, this is an interesting week. It's the first week that, school's out for most of the districts and private schools and so forth. And it's a big vacation week. At the same time, I'm seeing good activity across the board with people that are priced right in the right areas and so forth. So anyway, we track all this stuff. I've got these huge spreadsheets with all this information. The good news that I shared with you at the beginning is mortgage rates, now they've dropped below 7%. So that's a good psychological event for those buyers. The buyer psyche is very much dependent on the movement and the direction, I guess you'd say, of the mortgage rates. This article from Freddie Mac is that, this is, once again, we're another week where it's gone down a little bit, and then going under 7% is kind of a big deal. And then you can see, well, the beginning of May, we were at 7.22, then it dropped a little bit, then it dropped a little bit more, and then guess what? It dropped a little bit more. So now we're under 7. Psychologically, I think, this is, of course, with people with good credit, but psychologically, this is really good news for those buyers out there, because it gives them confidence to pull the trigger that they're not getting above 7% rate. Now, there are people that are getting above 7%, and that maybe it's because they're not putting as much money down, or maybe their credit score isn't as high as that median here, or whatever the case might be. But for the most part, my customers are getting 6.75 to 7.25, with most of them landing just under 7%. So that's the good news for the week. Let's see what happens in terms of failed listings this week, and to see if that improves our overall inventory. I think the other thing to really look at is, well, how many homes go pending this week? We end our statistics on Monday morning, so the Memorial Day weekend won't show up in next week's statistics. It's in this week's statistics. So looks like we wrote it through, and yeah, we went down about 40 pendings overall week to week, but that's no big deal. It's hardly a change. So, all right, have a great rest of the week, and we will be back at you first part of next week. Take care.